Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And again, a reminder, if you want to archive any of our previous shows as we inch closer to our 5-year anniversary, you can go on our website, cwbradio.com, and look for our mugs there on the front.
And kind of fun to look back at all those shows.
Yeah.
You can see how far we've come over the years.
Or how far we have
went in the other direction.
Yeah. All right, state baseball tournament wrapped up last week, last Thursday actually, over at Neuroscience Group Field, Fox City Stadium, and there were a few upsets maybe. I don't know.
I said, a lot of, again, a couple of first-time winners. I was kind of surprised, Larry, in D1. I would have thought De Pere would have probably had a state title before now, but this was their first time. So
I was surprised too when I saw that. That was their first state title.
But they beat Sun Prairie East 5-1 in the finals, and you had that change, split a couple of years ago. Sun Prairie went into two schools, and and I think Sun Prairie East has been getting the better half of it.
Yeah, it seems like in all the sports. Yeah, you see their name up more than you see the other side of Sun Prairie. Edgewood won the Division II crown, beating Mosinee 12-6.
Yeah, Edgewood with some really heavy hitting. Again, Mosinee hasn't given up. I don't know if Mosinee gave up 12 runs most of the season, because they have been stellar pitching. With three kids, Shoup and Jersley and a couple others, and they gave up a 12 spot to Edgewood and 12-6. 6 runs normally would have won it for Mosinee, but not that day. And that was Edgewood's third state title also. So.
And Mosinee again finishes runner-up. They just can't get over the top.
Yeah, they both boys, and they finished runner-up in girls softball too. So just a great year for them, but a little disappointing at the end. You bring home the silver in both sports.
Right. So. Top-seeded Aquinas, I guess no surprise there, but they played a pretty good Kenosha St. Joseph team.
Yeah, Kenosha St. Joseph's has been very stellar in baseball the last few years. That's a 6-4 game. That's a pretty good ball game there because Aquinas took it to Cumberland.
Yeah.
I believe that was a 5-inning game.
Yeah. Right.
And so kudos, a good game there, but third state title for Aquinas, and they just keep rolling along in sports. They do. The football, basketball, wrestling is very strong. And baseball, and that's just the guys' side of it. Their girls have been very stellar for a long time too. So
right.
So
top-seeded Oliva Strum rolled to an 11-1 win over Solon Springs Northwood. It was a 5-inning victory, but Oliva Strum. The interesting thing with them, top-seeded, but they were a fifth seed in their sectional,
and they went through Marshall, Columbus, and they went through Bangor and Pittsville and Royale to get there. And they had a much closer game in their semifinal against Johnson Creek too.
Right.
So, but one thing I want to say about Solon Springs, Larry, they have a senior on their team named Dylan Taggart, and this year Dylan did something very unusual you don't see often. He qualified for state in 4 different sports. This fall, he was on the cross country team. The Solon Springs team, when he was 17th as an individual, and Solon Springs was second as team. This winter, he was a part of the basketball team that lost in the state semis to Marshall Columbus. This spring, he doubled up. He ran track. He went to state in the 800 meters, finished 7th, and of course now the baseball team. So that is something very unusual in this day. 4 sports going to state in 1 year. So
yes, it is.
Kudos to that young man.
You bet. So. And that Solon Springs Northwood team, by the way, has some local ties. Yep. Jason Schultz, originally from Granton.
Yep.
His family is up there and had his boy played on that baseball team.
Yep. Jason would be the part of the Mike Schultz family.
Mike Schultz, his son.
Mike and Colleen.
So,
yeah.
And I think he was their girls basketball coach for a while. I don't think he is anymore, but he was for a little while up there. All right, so there you go. State baseball wrapping up last week.
And pretty much ends the year for the high school kids.
Spring sports.
Yep. So
not quite ending, though, because there's the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association All-Star Games.
Got to talk about the All-Star Games. So.
And that'll be coming up next week at Just a Game Fieldhouse in Wisconsin Dells. The girls' games are scheduled for Wednesday of next week, and the boys' games next Thursday. And a number of area athletes, especially in Division 4 in that North squad for the girls.
Oh, man, and is that a loaded lineup? You got the McDonald girls and the gal from Altoona and along with Paris Opelt and a few others. So and Don Cooper is the head coach. So
from McDonald Central.
So very heavy. That should be a team to watch there. So
Yeah, Casey Egebrecht from Phillips is
Yep.
on that team.
Yep.
And a couple of girls from Regis. Ayana Balsam from Marshfield and Ashley Grant-Corbitz of Marshfield are on the Division I North team.
Right.
And Sophia Coker of Athens on the Division V North team for the girls. For the boys, Division III white team, Henry Hull of Stanley Boyd and Dominic Schwarzenberger of Bloomer
Yes,
is on that team.
Yeah, we've seen both those young men play this year. Both outstanding athletes, both tall and long, and two of the better, probably, maybe if not the two best players in the Western Clover Belt this last year.
Oh, by far, yeah.
So.
Caden Weinfurter of Auburndale is on the Division IV white team. Tyler Underwood of Marathon, Grant Warren of Marathon, and Bo Volrath of Fall Creek are all in the Division IV black team.
Yeah, and we've seen every one of those kids play this year, Larry, and they all are very deserving. And you talk about some height there.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you got Weinfurtner, Volrath, and Underwood will be your point guard, and, and then Warren.
Interesting in the Division V field where I think we talked about this when it first came out, but Emmett Konechny of Columbus Catholic is on a different team outside of Blake Jacoby and Charlie Morris.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird, but I think it might be a lot of fun for him to play against them too. So
he's on the Division V black team, and the other two guys are on the Division V white team.
And it's not often that you have a team that can provide three kids to an all-star. That does not happen very often and this senior team from Columbus with Moore and Jacoby and Konechny were just something you don't often see anywhere. So.
And again, those Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association All-Star Games next Wednesday and Thursday at Just a Game Fieldhouse in Wisconsin Dells. And, of course, in July, it's the football All-Star Game. We'll talk about that as it gets closer.
Yeah, that'll be over in Oshkosh.
Yep.
So
there we go. All right, baseball, Legion baseball. Now, we don't see it, in Neillsville. We used to have a Legion baseball team years and years ago.
And then there used to be, now and then there's been tries in Loyal, and they've had Neillsville and Loyal and Greenwood kids on that, but it doesn't seem to keep going. It'll go for a year or two and then drop down. But
Marshfield does have a senior and junior Legion team, and the senior Legion team is comprised of a number of local ball players.
Yeah, you start off with a guy we've watched a lot, Bryce Erickson here in Neillsville. He's playing over there. Kane Tofar from Loyal, and then Blake Robb and Aiden Cherney from Auburndale, and then the Konechny brothers, Emmett and Mac, both on that team, and that's pretty good for Mac. He's only going to be a sophomore. Or junior, and same with Tofar, and they're making a senior Legion team. So
that's pretty good.
They're pretty good ball players. So
Gene Delisio had a chance to talk with Marshfield Senior Legion coach Josh Metz, and he talks about his team.
Marshfield Post 54 manager Josh Metz joining us. Coach, any overall thoughts you have about this group and what things look like for Legion baseball in Marshfield this season?
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about the team this year. We got, I think, 6 quality starting pitchers, which definitely helps in Legion baseball when you're playing so, consistently throughout the week. So I think hopefully they should be able to keep us in games, and I guess it's going to come down to how we hit. Overall, it's just going to come down to, I think we're going to play a lot of close games this year, and I think we just got to be able to win those close games. It's going to be the big difference in the overall record, I think.
Well, you mentioned that pitching depth. Very good to have that in Legion baseball. Is that a real strength of this ball club this year?
I think without knowing exactly how we are, I think it's definitely the strength right now. We got Aiden Cherney, who had a great spring for Auburndale, Blake Rabb, who had a very good spring for Auburndale, Owen Griesbach, who had a good spring for us in Marshfield, Emmett and Matt Konechny, who had good springs for Columbus, and a couple other guys too that I think will be able to step in and throw some innings. Kane Tofar from Loyal, so I think we have depth, and that's definitely something we lacked last year that kind of didn't allow us to stay in games as well as we would have hoped. So I think hopefully we should be able to at least stay in games, and like I said, then from there it's who gets the runners in with the big hits that's going to determine it.
Coach, always good to have young men from outside of Marshfield in your program. Nonetheless, talking lots this year with John Southworth, the Tiger coach, and the bulk of your players do come from the Tigers. He had an extremely young team this spring and very few seniors on his ball club. What effect does that have on your program this season?
Yeah, it makes a big difference. We got, probably half those players from Marshfield are playing juniors this summer, which I think is going to benefit them and hopefully get them better for next year, getting consistent playing time. And yeah, it was super important to bring in, the Auburndale kids, the Loyal, the Columbus guys. Like, I can't emphasize enough how important that is to our program. I mean, I am a coach at Marshfield High School and I want to help build that program, but, I've been a part of Legion baseball for a long time. I played, coach now, and our success has always come from having outside guys come in and help our program. I mean, you can name, the list goes on and on, so they're so important, and, having these guys here is like, it's awesome to have. And Bryce Erickson too from Neilsville came out, so that's another one that we haven't had in Neilsville for a while now, so it's just getting those guys and having them come in and help us out, because if we were relying on just the Marshfield High School kids, we'd probably only have enough for one team. So just where the numbers are at right now. So I hope we can continue to bring in these guys from outside of Marshfield and keep the Legion program going strong. That's my goal.
That's head coach Josh Metz of the Marshfield Senior Legion team, and they'll be back in action
tonight.
They take on DC Everest
up there. So
kind of struggling a little bit here early on.
2-6, but you look at their schedule. They played in a pretty tough tournament last weekend. I believe you had the Eau Claire Pizza Hut team in there.
Rapids looks like they're pretty tough.
Pretty tough, and from the roster, you look at it, it's. I think Coach Metz has a fairly young team here. Also,
some of these guys are not used to the Legion,
right? And and even like a guy like Bryce has not. This is his first year at Marshfield Legion too. So, and I think as the season goes on, they'll grow into a pretty good unit for him. So,
all right, so there you go, Legion baseball again. Marshfield Senior Legion. If you want to see some of those area guys back in action, check them out.
Jack Hackman Field is their home field, and
DC Everest tonight.
Yep.
All right, former Marshfield Tiger basketball standout, before we get into where are they now, because this is kind of a where are they now.
Yeah.
Taylor Varsho is going to be inducted into the University of Sioux Falls Athletic Hall of Fame later this fall.
Yes, I see that. And she is, of course, she's the all-time leading scorer in Marshfield Tiger girls history. And I believe she started off, Larry, out of high school going to Colorado State, but she transferred after 1 year, ended up at Sioux, and she carved out a very good career out there in Sioux Falls.
She had almost as many points at Sioux Falls as she did in Marshfield.
Yep. Yes.
Actually, she had more in 3 years.
Yep. So.
And, of course, she was a Tiger basketball coach.
Yep, just gave that up this year. So,
But she continues to teach.
Yes. Yeah, and I believe I seen where she was a finalist for a principal job somewhere too. So I don't recall right, but I see her name was on the list. So, and maybe that's kind of why she got out of coaching, trying to get into administration too. So
All right, where are they now on the show?
Okay, Larry, I'm going up to Colby today and talk about Hannah Mueller. And Hannah was a 2009 graduate of Colby High School. Hannah was a 3-year letter winner on the Hornet volleyball team. Her sophomore year, Colby was 13-11 on the season, losing to Edgar in the regionals. Her junior year, the Hornets were 14-8 on the season, losing to Edgar in the regionals. Her senior year, Colby was 21-3 on the season. They were Eastern Clover Belt champions and regional champions, losing in the sectional finals to Wausau Newman 3-2, and Wausau Newman would go on to win the state title that year. Hannah was the second team selection on the Clover Belt East All-Conference team. In the winter, Hannah was a 3-year letter winner on the Colby girls basketball team. Her sophomore year, the Hornets were 8-13 on the season, losing to Amherst in the regionals. Hannah averaged 9 points and 4 rebounds per game and was an honorable mention selection on the Clover Belt East All-Conference team. Her junior year, Colby was 11-10 on the season, losing to Owen Withey in the regionals. Hannah averaged 15.2 points and 5 rebounds per game and was a first-team selection on the Clover Belt East All-Conference team. Her senior year, Colby was 13-8 on the season, losing to Thorpe in the regionals. Hannah averaged 9 points and 4 rebounds and was a second-team selection on the All-Conference team. In the spring, Hannah was a 4-year letter winner on the Kobe girls track team. Her freshman year, she was a sectional qualifier in the 100 meters, the triple jump, and the long jump. She would qualify for the WIA Division II state meet in the long jump, where she finished 13th with a jump of 15 feet, 1 1/2 inches. Her sophomore year, she was color belt and regional champ in the triple jump, and also qualified for the sectionals in the 100 and 200 meter dashes and the long jump. She would qualify for the WIA Division II state meet in the 100 meters, where she would finish 7th, the long jump, where she would finish 9th with a jump of 16 feet, 1 3/4 inches, and the triple jump, where she would finish 4th with a jump of 35 feet, 6 3/4 inches. Her junior year, she was color belt champ in the long jump and qualified for the Division II state meet in the 100 and 200 meter dashes. She would place 7th in the long jump with a jump of 34 feet, 11 1/2 inches. Her senior year, she was color belt regional and sectional champ in the triple jump, and she also qualified for the WI Division II state meet in the 100 and 200 meter dashes. She would place 5th in the triple jump with a jump of 35 feet, 3 2/5 inches. Hannah holds a school record in the 100 meter at 12.79 seconds, the 200 meters in 26.87 seconds. She is second in the long jump at 16 feet 6 inches and second in the triple jump at 35 feet 6 3/4 inches. Her senior year, she was also named as a WIA Scholar Athlete. After graduation, Hannah enrolled at UW La Crosse and joined the women's track program. Her freshman year, she participated in the triple jump with a season high of 35 feet 2 inches and the 200 meters with a single season fast time of 28.88 seconds. Her sophomore year, she participated in the triple jump with a season high of 35 feet 8 inches and the 200 with a fast time of 28.48 seconds. Her junior year, she participated in the long jump with a season best of 17 feet 6 1/4 inches, the triple jump with a best of 36 feet 5 inches, and the 200 with a fast time of 26.68 seconds. Her senior year, she participated in the long jump with a best of 16 feet 10 3/4 inches, the triple jump with a best of 35 feet 10 inches, and the 200 with a fast time of 26.8. Hannah graduated from UW La Crosse in 2014 with a bachelor's degree in therapeutic recreation. In 2018, she earned her master's from UW La Crosse in therapeutic recreation management. Today, Hannah is employed by Able Incorporated as a direct support professional. Able Incorporated, based in La Crescent, Minnesota, provides residential care and developmental help. Hannah is also studying for her doctorate through Arizona Global University. Hannah resides in La Crosse. Hannah Mueller, Larry.
All right. And, it's interesting. You talk about these when they go on. A lot of them are in the health field.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of them went on to something in the health field.
And that seems to be where the jobs are, too. You talk, there's always a shortage of nurses.
Yeah.
And I think you talk about direct support individuals, I think there's a shortage of them also.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get residential help for people in certain things. So.
Good track star right there.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best out of Kobe ever.
Yeah. And, you talk about track. It leads us into the next thing here. 3 WIAC track and field standouts have secured spots in the U.S. Olympic track and field trials. One of them is from La Crosse. It's Sam Blaskowski and Davian Williams from Oshkosh are both going to be trying out in the 100-meter dash. And you look at these times, Blaskowski, 10.09.
Yeah, and that's pretty competitive. And it shouldn't deter him being from a small college either, because Kenny Bednarik, who originally hailed from Rice Lake, made the Olympics, and he came out of, I believe, UW Stout, I believe.
Okay.
So,
yeah, these are Blaskowski and Williams are the only two NCAA Division III individuals declared competitors in that 100-meter dash. And then there's, where is he here? Shelvin Garrett II is going to be competing in the triple jump.
Okay.
He's only one of 2 NCAA Division III student athletes participating in that. The trials for the Olympics are starting up on Friday, and they'll go through next week at the University of Oregon, and you can watch them on NBC, Peacock, and USA.
Is it? I don't know if you caught this, but for the swimmers, they transferred Lucas Stadium into an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Oh, really?
That's where they had the swim. That's where they had the swim.
How did they do that?
I have no idea.
That's the one in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yeah. There's been many Super Bowls there, a lot of Final Fours.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's been there, not swimming.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's probably the biggest crowd they ever had for the swimming tryouts. So.
You bet. All right, so congratulations and good luck to those individuals from the WIAC.
Tremendous. And that's tremendous, and that shows you the quality coming out of the WIAC also, Larry. So.
Especially UW lacrosse.
Oh yeah,
on the men's side.
Just dominant, and women's too.
Yeah, and the women's. Yeah,
they were very dominant. So
the College World Series yesterday, the number 2 team, Kentucky. Boy, they got beat bad by Florida.
Yep.
15-4.
Yeah.
So Kentucky is eliminated.
Yes. Yeah, they were, I believe, the number 1 seed. At least they were in that side of the bracket.
Yeah, they were the 2 seed overall.
And now Florida will take on Texas A&M.
Okay. All right.
And then on the other side, I believe you got Florida and Tennessee.
Florida State and Tennessee. Tennessee won that game. So.
Okay. So Tennessee is in the win into the best 2 of 3 series, and they will take on the winner of Florida Kentucky in a 2 out of 3 best. So
all right. So there it is, coming down to the end.
Oh, I should say Florida and Texas A&M. Excuse me. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's coming down to the end of the NCAA Men's College World Series down in Nebraska.
Omaha.
Yep. Famous for that.
Yes.
All right. Did you see the Bucks are going to have to pay some taxes?
Yeah.
That's not a small little check they're paying.
No, it's not, and that's just the way the sports is. It seems like if you want to compete these days, sometimes you got to pay.
$52,500,000
you bet.
for taxes because they went above the NBA salary cap. Only 8 other teams did it.
Yeah, you start with Giannis's contract, and then you brought Lillard in on a and then Middleton have to, Brooke Lopez. These guys have been around. They make a lot of money, and sometimes that it kind of deters you too, Larry, because your bench depth is not as good.
Right.
You cannot have the strong bench, and I think in some ways that's probably has hurt the Bucks the last couple of years with these high numbers. So it'll be interesting to see how they go forward. So
the 8 teams, by the way, are paying a total of $527 million in taxes. So the non-tax-paying teams will receive about $12 million apiece.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of it's something you've seen in baseball for years, but the NBA is, it's not quite the same as the MLB because the small markets really stand out in the MLB compared to what they do in the NBA.
Yeah.
But still, it's still quite a little. But and speaking of the NBA, their season is over. The Celtics take down Dallas 4-1, and quite honestly, other than Game 4, Larry, pretty much dominant.
Well, you almost wonder if Boston wanted to win that game.
Yeah.
They win the championship
win it
at home.
Yeah.
so they lost that game.
Jaylen Brown was the Bill Russell's MVP. And
no surprise there.
Yeah, and then Sam Hauser, of course, from Stevens Point, member of the Celtics. 8 points, 3 rebounds. So he's a free agent after the season, but it sounds like the Celtics would really like to keep him. So
yeah, he's one of those.
He's fit in really nicely out there.
He's a good role player.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
get a lot of minutes, but
he's a nice swing guy at 6'7" because he can play the 3 or the 2,
and he can shoot.
Yeah, he and his brother are both tremendous shooters. So.
The Detroit Pistons fired Monty Williams as their head coach after
one season,
and he had a 5-year deal.
Yeah, they owe him $65 million yet. So
that's a sweet deal for him.
Yeah, I said Monty Williams had great success in Phoenix, and since he left Phoenix went downhill pretty good. Why is he not being given time to bring this back? It's interesting, especially at that kind of money. So
and that team is very young.
Yes, very young team. And I seen them play the Bucks, and they were very competitive against the Bucks. They never beat the Bucks, but very competitive. A lot of good young talent. They're going to get another nice lottery pick this year, but. That long losing streak, early, probably doomed Monty right from the start. So,
28-game losing streak.
Yeah,
they only ended up with 14 wins all year.
Yeah.
The Celtics, you talked about them winning the championship. Yeah. They are Caesars Sportsbook's betting favorite for next year again.
Yep. And that was their 18th title, Larry, and that breaks a tie with the Lakers. The Lakers had 17 also coming into this season.
So we'll see what the Lakers do now to try and get a team to get back.
Yeah, there's talk of you got to have Bronny. We'll see what happens there. But
I haven't heard much good about. I mean, as far as Bronny being that much of a
no, he's definitely not dad. And
no, he's not going to make that much of a difference. I don't think.
I don't think he made that big a difference at USC.
No,
quite honestly, And,
I mean, I never really heard about him.
You didn't see USC in the Sweet 16 or whatever, So, but whatever, So it's good to have a name, I guess. So, yeah.
I guess.
NHL Stanley Cup. Florida had jumped off to a 3-0 lead, but Edmonton has come back to 1-2. So, Game 6 Friday night. So,
and the thing about that Stanley Cup final is they got to travel like 2,300 miles each time.
You're talking. Yeah.
So I don't think Florida wanted to go back to Edmonton.
But I give a lot of kudos to Edmonton. They won Game 4 in their own, traveled to Florida and got Game 5. So now they come back. Now you're back in the ball game. So you got a good chance to make it 3-3 Friday night, and then I suppose Sunday, anything goes in a 7. So.
Yeah, well, I think you might wonder, and I was kind of wondering, myself, why it was taking so long between games.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Yes.
Because they have a 2,000-mile trip every time.
Yeah, and you're going out of the country too. So.
Right, yeah. So that's why, they played on Tuesday night. Now they don't play again until Friday. Because of the travel.
Yeah, so they probably won't play again. If there is a Game 7, it might not be till Monday then.
Yeah.
So
right. So. And Connor McDavid is having quite a NHL performance in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In fact, he's closing in on history with Wayne Gretzky from the 1985 NHL playoff series. So. All right. The Brewers out in California.
Start a series in San Diego tonight, so we'll see what happens there. But sad news out of MLB Tuesday. The great Willie Mays, 93 years old, passed away, and probably, Larry, easily one of the top 5 players of all time. I said they're
if not the.
I've always considered Willie Mays the greatest he and Hank Aaron the 2 greatest right-handed hitters of all time. But his defense in center field, he was probably the first 5-tool player, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So
12 Gold Gloves.
Yeah, and what's interesting is tonight, San Francisco and St. Louis are going to have a game. This was scheduled at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama, and Rickwood Field is the oldest professional ballpark in the United States, and this is where the Birmingham Black Barons played from 1924 to 1960. Willie Mays got his start with the Black Barons he played with them in 1948 and 1949, and then before he signed with the Giants, and they were hoping he could be there tonight. He was not going to make it because of health, and then he passed away. Yeah. So it puts an extra emphasis on that game tonight.
Yeah, they had played these games.
They played first
down
year.
The Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams
down in Iowa.
Yeah.
And then now they're playing. I think they're going to try and. I don't know if they're going to try and work that around the different stadiums.
Rickwood Field is the oldest professional field in the United States. It was modeled mainly after Forbes Field in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Which was different.
The few of them, like the Polo Grounds, where he made that famous catch.
That's where the Polo Grounds, center field in the Polo Grounds was 484 feet. But down the lines, it was like 290.
Yeah, that was a weird constructed.
Yeah,
field.
Very, and that because of that, Willie Mays made the catch that everybody sees.
Yep.
If in today's ballpark, that would have been long gone.
Yeah.
So
he had a lot of room to make that catch.
You bet. So
in fact, I think he ran 90 feet.
Yeah. And there was runners at first and second, and he turned and threw to second. The runner at first could not tag, and the reason he did it because it was felt that the runner at second might be able to go all the way around, but he did not.
No. And there are some people that say that throw was actually the biggest part of that because a lot of guys do tag and score from second.
Yeah, and that was a 2-2 game in the 10th inning when that happened, Larry. So that was a very big play. Very big play.
And that was in the World Series.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, gets seen every year. So.
And now I've heard there's talk, or some people are saying that they should use that image as the Major League Baseball image, like Jerry West is used for the NBA.
I think that would be tremendous. So
that might happen now.
Yep.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up here for this week's show. A lot of stuff going on.
You bet.
Well,
We'll find more for next week.
Yeah, we'll look for some more stuff, including some of those all-star games that are going to be coming up.
Yep,
We'll get some
and
results
the
on
voting, the first voting is out for the major league teams, and we'll have some more results on that next week. So
That's Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again next week.